The dark truth about P. Diddy power, allegations, and his shocking arrest. Sean P. Diddy Combs, a name that's become synonymous with success, power, and wealth in the music world. But behind the empire, the hit records, and the high-profile parties, there's a side to Diddy that the public rarely sees. Over the years, rumors of ruthless business tactics and dark allegations have quietly followed him. And now, with his recent shocking arrest, everything is coming to the surface. How deep does this story really go? You'll want to stick around, because what we're about to uncover could change the way you see Diddy forever. The rise of Diddy, from Harlem to music mogul. Alright, let's talk about how P. Diddy Sean Combs went from a kid growing up in Harlem to becoming one of the most powerful figures in music. And trust me, it's a wild ride. Sean Combs, born in 1969, raised by a single mother after his father was tragically killed when he was just a toddler. He grew up in Harlem, right in the thick of it. This wasn't the easy life he had to hustle from day one. But this is where Diddy's grind comes in. In college, he interned at Uptown Records, where he worked like crazy. We're talking running errands, grabbing coffee, sweeping floors, whatever it took to get noticed. And man, did he ever. By the early 90s, Combs was already producing hits. But he wasn't satisfied just making music for someone else. He had bigger plans. Now, here's where things really start popping off. In 1993, Diddy gets fired from Uptown Records. Most people would have been crushed, but not Diddy. Instead of giving up, he creates Bad Boy Records, and this was a game changer for hip-hop. He signed his first artist, a Brooklyn rapper named, you guessed it, the notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. And that was the start of something massive. Bad Boy Records quickly became the hottest label in hip-hop. Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, hit hard, selling over 4 million copies. And Diddy wasn't just producing, he was creating a whole new sound. That smooth blend of rap and R&B, that was him. He brought that glossy, sample-heavy production that dominated the charts in the 90s. I mean, think about tracks like Juicy or Big Papa. That's Diddy's magic touch right there. But, of course, the story doesn't end with music. Diddy's ambition took him way beyond Bad Boy Records. He launched Sean John, his clothing line, in 1998, which earned him a CFDA award for menswear. He went on to win 3 Grammys, including one for Best Rap Album with No Way Out in 1998, and let's not forget he became a billionaire in 2022. Yeah, billionaire with a B. But before you think it's all red carpets and champagne, there's a darker side to this success story, one filled with controversies, scandals, and some really messy moments. And we're just getting started on that part. The 1999 club shooting incident. Now, let's get into one of Diddy's first major controversies, the infamous 1999 club shooting in New York City. If you were around back then, this was huge. It was all over the headlines, and it seriously rocked Diddy's career. Here's the setup. Diddy's at Club New York, a popular Manhattan hotspot, with his then-girlfriend, none other than Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shyne, who was one of Bad Boy's rising stars at the time. Everything's going great until it isn't. A fight breaks out inside the club. Tempers flare, and then bam, shots are fired. Chaos erupts. 3 people are hit. Thankfully, no one dies, but it's a total disaster. And get this, Diddy and J.Lo were there when it all went down. So, what happens next? The police arrest Diddy, J.Lo, and Shyne. All eyes are on Diddy now. This wasn't just a small scuffle, this was a massive scandal. It's the first time we really see a crack in his image as the cool, smooth-talking mogul. Diddy is charged with weapons possession and bribery because, according to the rumors, he tried to pay off his driver to take the fall for the gun found in his car. Yeah, that's serious. Diddy ends up going to trial, facing up to 15 years in prison. The stakes couldn't be higher. And after a long, drawn-out court battle, he's acquitted of all charges. Yep, Diddy walks free. But his boy Shyne, not so lucky. Shyne was sentenced to 10 years for his role in the shooting. That's right, Shyne took the fall while Diddy kept his hands clean. The club shooting incident definitely left a stain on Diddy's image. It was one of the first major cracks in his armor, and it kinda set the tone for the legal troubles that would follow him throughout his career. While he bounced back, this was a moment where people started asking, was Diddy's empire built on more than just music? And let's not forget about Jennifer Lopez. This whole ordeal had a massive impact on her too. After the shooting, she distanced herself from Diddy and the relationship came to an end. So, not only did this shake up his career, it also had personal consequences. The East Coast versus West Coast feud. Now, let's dive into one of the most explosive periods in hip-hop history, the East Coast versus vs. West Coast feud. And Diddy? Oh, he was right in the middle of it. So, here's the deal. In the mid-90s, the tension between East Coast and West Coast rappers was at an all-time high. On one side, you had Tupac and Death Row Records representing the West. On the other, you had Diddy's Bad Boy Records with the notorious B.I.G. holding down the East. What started as a rivalry quickly spiraled into something much more dangerous. Diddy's role in this? Well, his close relationship with Biggie made him a central figure in the feud. As Biggie's manager and producer, Diddy was always in the spotlight. And when Tupac was shot in 1994, rumors flew that Bad Boy had something to do with it, whether true or not. It added fuel to the fire. Things got even messier with diss tracks like Biggie's Who Shot Ya, which many believed was a jab at Tupac, even though Diddy denied it. And then came Tupac's death in 1996, followed by Biggie's murder just 6 months later in 1997. Two of hip-hop's biggest stars, gone, and the feud is forever tied to both their legacies. The question remains, how much did Diddy stir the pot? Some say he kept the beef alive for publicity, while others argue he was just protecting his artist. But one thing's for sure, this feud defined a huge part of Diddy's career and changed the landscape of hip-hop forever. It left a mark on his legacy. Some fans still hold him partially responsible for the violence that came out of that rivalry, while others see him as a businessman caught in the crossfire. Either way, Diddy's role in the East Coast versus West Coast feud is something people still talk about today. Allegations from former artists and employees. Alright, now let's get into some tea, because when it comes to Diddy, the allegations from former artists and employees are hard to ignore. One of the loudest voices, Maze. He was one of Bad Boy's biggest stars in the late 90s, but years later, Maze publicly called out Diddy for profiting off his work while keeping him locked in a bad contract. Maze claimed he tried to buy back his publishing rights for $2 million, but Diddy wouldn't sell, even though, according to Maze, Diddy had no problem selling other assets. That's one example of an artist feeling exploited. And it's not just artists. Some of Diddy's former employees have accused him of creating a toxic work environment with claims of mistreatment and long hours without fair pay. Add to that, some of Diddy's exes like Kim Porter, who once accused him of emotional manipulation, alleged that there's a much darker side behind his charm and success. So, is this just the price of power? When you're at the top like Diddy, people are bound to come after you. Or is this a sign of something more sinister, like an empire built on taking advantage of the very people who helped build it? There's no clear answer, but these allegations definitely add another layer to Diddy's already complicated legacy. The recent arrest. What happened? Alright, let's talk about the big moment. Everyone's buzzing about Diddy's shocking arrest. This is fresh news, and people are dying to know what really went down. So, on September 16, Diddy was arrested by the FBI in Manhattan after a grand jury indictment. The exact charges still sealed, but here's what we do know. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams revealed that Diddy is being held on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Yet, we're talking some serious accusations here. Diddy's lawyers have been working overtime, trying to get him out on $50 million bail. They argued that he's not a flight risk, and even pointed out that his passport was revoked months ago. They also highlighted his charitable work, like that's gonna soften the blow. But guess what? The judge wasn't having any of it. Judge Andrew Carter denied Diddy's bail, saying there's no condition that could guarantee the safety of the community. He was particularly worried about Diddy contacting witnesses. So, for now, Diddy's stuck at the Metropolitan Detention Center, waiting for his trial. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, has been insisting that Diddy's innocent, calling him an innocent man with nothing to hide. But we've heard that before, haven't we? So, how could this arrest impact his career? Could this be the start of his downfall? With charges this big, even if Diddy fights them, the damage to his reputation could be devastating. He's built an empire, but scandals like this can bring down even the biggest names. Fans, business partners, and the public will be watching very closely to see how this plays out. Is this the beginning of the end for Sean Diddy Combs? Only time will tell, but things aren't looking good right now. Diddy's legacy, visionary or controversial figure? So, what's the final verdict on Diddy's legacy? Will he be remembered as a groundbreaking music mogul and savvy entrepreneur who helped shape hip-hop, or will the controversies and legal battles overshadow his success? On one hand, Diddy revolutionized the music industry. He launched Bad Boy Records, discovered stars like Biggie, and created a distinct sound that defined the 90s. He expanded into fashion with Sean John, and he's a billionaire today, an impressive feat for anyone. But on the flip side, his career is marred by serious controversies. The 1999 club shooting, trafficking, the East Coast versus West Coast feud, and allegations from former artists and employees paint a more complex picture. These incidents make us question if there's a darker side to his empire. So, is Diddy a visionary who built an empire on talent and innovation, or is he a controversial figure whose success came at a cost? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.